Good morning, everybody. My name is Standing Bear Thunderheart, aka Bear. And today, even though I look like I've just woken up, that's okay. I'm bright-eyed and I'm ready to get going my day. And today, I'd like to discuss this really sensitive topic. It seems to be because a lot of people, even though a lot of people can talk about it and everything, but not everybody really gets it deep into it. I'm talking about relationships. Now, I normally don't necessarily like to talk about relationships, and even though I've had it myself, but this is a type of topic about relationships that is about life and dynamics after the breakup. In other words, what happened is once you break up with your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, such and such like that, and what do you do? How do you grow in a relationship, especially once you have kids from that relationship? Now, I cannot necessarily say I've had any kids with any women that I've been with or broken up. Thank goodness on that. And I'm really happy with my life with Rainbow at the moment. And at the same time, there have been other cases of my problems with my exes that I've had after I've broken up and things like that. But I'm going to give you a bit of an example of what really got me to talk about this topic to begin with. Now, yesterday I went over to the bank, and I didn't actually go inside the bank. I was actually going outside the ATM machine, and there were two Hispanic gentlemen that were right in front of me, and one of them was having problems working this ATM machine and the card and so forth. Now, the gentleman behind the other one that was having problems had tattoos on his head and his neck, which was very interesting. Okay, and because I saw because actually he had this part of his head all shaved up. He had some of his hair like on top there, but not necessarily on the actually the back was shaved up too. Only this part had a little bit of hair, and it was slicked back and like slick and everything like that. It looked good, but now on the sides there, if you can on that side and that side, he had an angel. Because it looked like to me like he had an angel, because he had and it was a beautiful woman that had an angelic wings, and she was doing this. But I was like, whoa, wait a minute, dude, what is this? That's a nice tattoo. What kind of angel is this? He was all saying, that's really a devil. And I'm like, what, a devil? And I actually took a closer look. I'm like, what? Oh, it has horns on it. It had like just little horns. Didn't have like big horns or anything like that. And I was like, she-devil? No, not the she-devil, the she-devil. And I was like, then what's that in your neck? And they say, that's God. I'm like, whoa, okay. And he was like, they started showing me a bit different tattoos. He even started showing me Mother Mary on his side. Now, I thought that was his wife, Mary. But because I thought he was married, instead of, he said Mary. And so I didn't really hear him correctly, and so he thought that I knew nothing about religion, which was insulting to me. But he didn't know me, so it was okay. No, but I misunderstood, which I thought he said he was married, and it was Mother Mary instead, or the Virgin Mary in the old paradigm way of saying it. But in today's world, it is Mother Mary. So just to let y'all know that. And to make my point across, he basically, like I said, he had a tattoo of, and this she-devil, the she-devil was not like, it wasn't Satan's wife or anything like that. You want to know what it is? Instead, he said that was his baby's mama, if anything. Now, those who don't know what baby's mama is, many people that have ex-girlfriends, boyfriends, and various other things like that, even ex-husbands and wives and different things like that. So, but obviously he was not married to that woman, because he would have said ex-wife, something like that. So instead of saying another ex-girlfriend of his, it's his ex-girlfriend, but a girlfriend he had children with. He just didn't stick around with her, and she didn't stick around with him. So that's what baby's mama usually is, or baby's daddy, that kind of thing. So that's a lingo. So just to let you all know, those who don't know, that's usually what it means. It usually means an ex that you had kids with, but you're no longer with that person. So that's basically what that means. Just thought I'd tell you that. Well, anyways, getting on to the subject. Like I say, so basically he had it on both sides, that she-devil, exactly the same design, everything, doing the exact same thing, same wings, everything, and that was his baby's mama. And I was like, baby's mama? He said, yeah, man, she is that devil. She is that evil. She's the ultimate evil. And he was all like really carrying on about that. Really, and I could just see in the base of his voice that it just started changing. And he was all saying, "Nah, man, if I seen a honey, I'd definitely marry another honey, but this one, no way." And he was like, "That's my baby's mama," and he just kept on saying it with such anger. And to me, I mean, in order to compare her as the main evil along the opposite of God, I was like, and this is what I said to him. I was like, "Bro, man, let me tell you something. You have given your ex and your baby's mama way too much power." And that's exactly what he did. He gave his ex-girlfriend way too much power. And one of the key things about relationships is that, you know, sure, there's going to be relationships. Some you're going to stay for good. Some you're going to stay for a long time. And then others you may break up for whatever reason, whether it's dynamic shifts or certain things you don't agree with anymore. There could be many reasons. But one of the key things about relationships like that, after you've broken up with your ex-girlfriend or your ex-boyfriend, is how do you want to continue on after the breakup? And most people don't really stop and think about that. Even I haven't thought about that many years ago. And so one of the key things is to ask yourself, why exactly is it that you've broken up? Not just really looking at the other person, but more or less looking at yourself for many reasons. I'll give you another example. I mean, many years ago, when I broken up with an ex of mine, she was not my baby's mama, like I said. Thank goodness on that, because I don't have any kids with her, with anybody. But it was just as bad. It was a bad breakup with this one particular person. It was like over 10 years ago or so. It was a bad breakup. And it basically, we haven't talked with each other in months and whatnot. And there have been times when we looked at each other. In other words, we didn't handle it very maturely. I didn't handle it very maturely, and neither did she. You know, we didn't handle things in a mature adult fashion at that time. And so then I remember she would work at an ice cream place. Because I remember I found out where she worked. And then one night, my friend wanted to hang out with me. I wanted to go, hang out and eat some ice cream and various things like that. And basically, he was actually my coworker at that time too. So we wanted to get off of work a little early and eat some ice cream on a Friday night, which was cool and so forth. But I mean, as soon as he said a certain place of the ice cream place, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. He was all saying, why not? And I simply said, because my ex-girlfriend works there. That's why. He was all saying, what? No, come on, look. And I said, no, I'm serious. My ex-girlfriend works there. I don't want to see her. I don't want her to see me. He was saying, look, man, you have to get past this. You cannot let your ex-girlfriend be the determined factor of where you go. You cannot just let your ex-girlfriend have that power over you like that. And so he was also saying, because if you don't do that, whether she works there or not work there anymore, she will always have power over you. So you need to go there despite whether she works there anymore, or has a night off, doesn't matter. You need to go there when you want to go there, despite her. And when he told me that, he made a very good point. He made a very good point. I'm like, why the hell am I letting this girl have power over me like that? That is just not a good thing. And obviously, if that was happening with me, I know it was happening to a lot of people all over the world in various places in the United States. And so what I'm telling you guys is once you break it up and everything, first of all, there has to be some form of forgiveness that needs to happen. And so as far as forgiveness, you need to first of all forgive yourself on your part, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what have I did wrong on my part in this relationship? Because it takes two to break it up. It took two to get together, and it's going to take two to break it up. I mean, that's all it is to it. It takes two to do things. So it's not just one person after another. I mean, there's always a part in it that we play. And so you have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what part did I play in this? And then find your way to get better at it in other relationships. That's why people get in many dates and so forth like that, so they can grow and mature, versus having one date and then get married and things like that. That was back in the old romantic days, but those days are done. I mean, because today we're living in a more complex world where there's a lot of complexities and a lot of various people with various beliefs. So I decided to, okay, fine, let's go to that one ice cream place and let's do it. Let's eat there. Lo and behold, I went over there. I had fun. I had a great time. And I found out that a good friend of mine, a female friend of mine, was working there at that time. And then I found out that my ex-girlfriend was no longer working there. I was like, what? Yes, she's not working there. But that was not really what made me happy. What made me happy was that realization that that power that I allowed that girl to have over me was no longer there. That was the most important of all of it, if anything. I no longer had that let that girl have power over me. So what I'm telling you guys is that when you have an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend or whatever, find a way to see if you can try to at least be friends with a person. But one of the key things I would advise you to is just, you know, if you have kids with a person, then do your best to really work it out for the interest of your kid, versus, trying to fight each other, and then the kid gets affected and so forth. Try to be the best example for the kid, not necessarily try to get along with your wife or your ex-wife or your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend so you can harmonize, but try to get along within yourself first. It all starts with having peace within yourself, and then you can have peace with your ex, and you can then either be better friends or just at least be civil enough to work around with your kids in that way. And so obviously that guy that had a tattoo of that angel did not have that kind of peace, and I would wish that he would find peace, because that is just way too much power. Especially having a tattoo is not just about having an ink sticking on your head and so forth. This is what it represents. This is a story. This is like a power that you kind of put in, like what do you call it? Branding. How those cowboys like to brand cows with their hot metals, and then they're sticking on the cows near their asses and stuff like that. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's like branding yourself. And that's what he did. He branded himself of being the victim of his ex-girlfriend, who he really perceives as almost having the great power of the darkness. Basically being the lordess of darkness. Or princess or something like that. It's ridiculous. It is totally ridiculous. She ain't all that. I don't know his ex-girlfriend from off the bat, but I know she's not all that bad either. At least she couldn't be. I mean, yeah, they're having people that like to say, this person's so bad that if you send them to hell, Satan wouldn't want them and everything like that. I don't think she's even gotten to that point in the way I look at things. But also the mature part about it too is just, do your best not to look at them as the evil, the bad guy or anything like that. Just look at the idea that, hey, you know what? I had this great relationship with a person. Didn't work out. Why it didn't work out? It's all up to you, and up to you to figure out why it didn't work out. We all have to look within ourselves and ask ourselves that question. Now, if there's incidences where you get back with the person that you've broken up, then that's all great. Just know, but before you do that though, I would suggest that you guys communicate about this and ask yourself, why did you guys break up in the first place? So hopefully you guys can learn from it and actually don't make the same mistakes again, or at least not make the same mistakes too often. Minimize that, put it down to a minimum, minimize all that, because it's very important for a relationship to grow as long as both people are growing, and that's what makes a lasting relationship, just to let you know. And now, a better example that I had that I did move on with this relationship, with this one particular person that I broke up. Even though I have various other ex-girlfriends, but many of them moved to different places. I moved around, so I haven't really seen them as much again. And then there's others that I have talked to, I've been cordial, I've been friends with, and said, hi, how you been, and various things. Others got married, others got kids, and things like that. So it's been a great thing. It was a great experience to see some of them again and talk to them and, be nice. And it was actually more cordial and civil, but it was actually the idea that we can be friends too. But there's one particular ex-girlfriend that I spoke about, that I didn't want to go to an ice cream place because of her, that I allowed her to have power over me. I did run into her one night at midnight when I was walking around. She was walking with her dog. And so her and I, we talked civilly, in a civil manner. We talked about this, and we talked about why did we break up, what happened. And so we both were calm enough now, and were matured enough now at that time. This was like about a year or so later after the ice cream incident. We sat down, we talked about it, we discussed things, whether we were going to be friends or not. And so we decided to just try being more friendly and, just And so we looked at ourselves. I told her that I'm sorry on my part. She apologized on her part, and that was great. I mean, at the same time, before that happened, I had to learn to forgive myself on my part. I had to be more mature at how I see things, how I view things, not just from my own perspective, but view things from their perspective as best as you can. So that's basically it. I mean, as far as relationships are concerned, relationships are dynamic. It takes work. And that's one of the key things that people need to realize. It does take work. I mean, sure, there's a lot of pleasure. There should be feelings involved and everything else. But there's also should be a great amount of responsibility and work on everybody's part. So as long as you continue to keep working on yourself as an individual, your relationships of whoever with the boyfriend or aunt, uncle, or in any kind of dynamic of the relationship should be the best, should be better than usual. Even though it may not be the greatest in the world, but at least if you work on yourself, the relationship should be improving each and every time that happens. So, in any event, that's it for today, and I hope this helps a lot of you that have just been broken up or had breakups and so forth recently. I hope this helps. And like I said, I'm Bear once again, and I will talk to you guys another time. Take care, everybody, and many blessings to you all. Healing, it is all that is.